All right, drag racers and Mopar people. I'm Justmoparjoe. Welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna give you 5 quick reasons why your car is turning sideways during a burnout. I'm gonna show you a video right now what that looks like. My car was just doing that at the first No Name Nationals on day 2. On day number 1, I had perfect burnouts. Couldn't figure it out. Let me share with you what that looks like. So what you see here is a good old mess. And I want you to look at that tire. And up here again, that's a front runner I run on here. That's just a Volkswagen size. Anyway, my issue with my burnout going crooked. So if you have a differentiation, there's a big word, from side to side on your brake pressure, whether it be a failed caliper, a line leaking, a wheel cylinder, any of those things, it will actually cause you to turn sideways. Let me show you what that looks like. So here's my Superbird, if y'all never seen it before. If this wheel, that front wheel is not locked and the other one is, it causes the car to do this as it's burning out. So that was my issue. If both front wheels are locked, the back tires will spin and everything should be fine, unless you have some other issues. So let's go to number 2. Number 2 is actually about air pressure. So if you have a variance in your front tire air pressure, I would say at least 5 pounds or more, that could cause you to actually turn a little bit sideways, especially in the rears. I know guys who run an extra ½ pound on their left rear because the driver's weight is on this side. So it's something to think about if you want to play with your tire pressure back and forth. That could help you out some. That helps me along with number 3 here. Number 3 would be tire diameter. So if your slicks that you just bought have too different of a diameter in the back, one side will spin faster than the other. That could cause you to start turning sideways in the burnout box. So I'll show you that example just briefly. So I know this is a extreme example here, but the washer on the left would actually spin faster than the one on the right because it has a smaller diameter. Whenever you get your slicks, oftentimes they're matched sets, but other times they're not, especially with quality control right now. So you should take a string and go all the way around the outside of it, mark that, and then check it with the other side. I believe they should be within a ½ inch of each other. And if your car is moving over from one side to the other, you can always try and switch this slick to the opposite side. So you just flip them straight over. See if it does it then. That could cure your problem. So our next one up is actually your differential. If you ever saw my 3 key things for bracket racing video, I mentioned having a good, solid locking differential of some kind. This has a spool in it. You can go with a Detroit locker or whatever you think. But if you've got a Sure Grip or track lock or whatever that's intermittently locking and unlocking, that can cause your car to start moving one way or the other. So keep that in mind. So keep that in mind when you go to problem solve these things. Next one. So number 5, and this is a big one, especially for like homemade race cars and cars that may have been wrecked before, which is a lot of old cars that get wrecked and patched back up, is a differentiation in your wheelbase from side to side. Let me show you what that looks like. So what I mean by that is the center line of that axle to the center line of that front hub. If it is an inch shorter on one side or the other, the car will actually track crooked all the way down the track. And when you go to burn out, it'll start moving sideways. The other thing could be a setup in your suspension. So this car has ladder link bars. The link is up there, right there, which would add different preload. But you can adjust that distance right here with that front turnbuckle. If that turnbuckle is extended, so made longer, this wheel will go backwards. But you don't want to just start playing with that back and forth to center the tire in the wheel well. The wheel well doesn't matter. What matters is the chassis of the car. So when you're building your new race car, whether it be a Barracuda or whatever it is, you need to be sure your wheelbase is correct front to rear and not worry about centering your tire in the wheel well as much. Ideally, you would want a shorter wheelbase So if that tire is further forward, it's easier to lift the front of the car because the wheelbase is shorter. You used to see that a lot with the guys cutting this out in the super stock cars and moving axles forward and all that. The other thing could be, if while we're on this, if the preload on that turnbuckle is a lot, it could cause you to launch crooked also. But you may notice it in the burnout box first. These are just ideas you can check to try to solve your issue if you are having a crooked burnout. Us lower horsepower guys, I would probably say if you're under 700 or 800, whatever, how much water is under your tires when you're trying to burn out? So as you back into a burnout box and then go to pull forward, a lot of times, if the right rear didn't get any moisture under it, it won't spin. It'll start gripping faster. The left rear will want to spin and the car will start turning. So keep that in mind. I like to have a spotter. My brother is really good about that if you saw him at No Name Nationals. But a lot of times the guys who work at these tracks should be helping you and watching, and it helps keep their job easier. But that's not always the case. Some of them just do it half-heartedly and don't care if you burn out right or not. They want you out of the way. So hopefully this video helps somebody out there. If you had anything to add, please put it in the comments below after you click the subscribe button and the thumbs up. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see you at the racetrack.